Sorry. There we go. And with that, it's not as maybe complex as it seems, right? Anything in math is just usually named after what it is, what precisely it is. So in this one, triangle, we know what a triangle is, right? It's got 3 sides. Angle, so we know that angles are obtuse, acute, right? Just different 2 intersecting lines. And then sum, we know is adding, right? The answer to an addition problem. And then a theorem is like a formula sometimes, or an idea, something that we use as basically a rule of thumb. So if it's a triangle, angle, sum theorem, then it's basically talking about the adding of all the angles in a triangle. Okay, so the objective, I can find the missing angle of a triangle. So if we have a triangle and it's got some missing angles, can we find out what those angles are with just the information we have? That's what we're going to be looking at today. Okay. So make sure you do have your Google Slides open. I would put it to the side, or make sure if I'm full screen, remember you can press escape on your keyboard, and that allows you to take it off full screen so you can have 2 different things open. All right, so the first thing, okay, just a quick reminder of what we talked about yesterday, right? We said that the sum, and this is the triangle inequality theorem, okay? And this basically says that the sum of the 2 smallest sides of a triangle is going to be greater than the third side of a triangle. Okay, I'll say that one more time. So the sum of the 2 smaller sides of a triangle should be greater than the third side of a triangle. All right, so in this case here, we've got 2, 3, and 6, and it says, can those be the sides of a triangle? Like, is it even possible to make a triangle with 2, 3, and a 6 length sides? What do you guys think? Based off of our theorem and based off of what you learned on Monday, what do you think? Yes or no on this one? Go ahead and respond in the chat now. Okay, good. Let me get at least 5 responses. We got 2. 3, 4, good. All right, yep. So it's not gonna work out, right? Because 2 and 3 are the smaller ones, and if we add 2 and 3 together, that makes 5, and it has to be greater than the third side. So it's not on this one. Good job, guys. So no. What about this one? Can the side lengths of a triangle have lengths 7, 20, and 14? Once again, respond in the chat. What do you think? Good, we've got 2 responses. Good, 3 responses. I still need 2 more. Okay, seeing a consensus here. 1 more person. All right, so I've got a lot of yeses. Let's see what it is. So the shortest 2 would be 7 and 14, right? So if we put those together, that would give us 21, and that is greater than the third side. So yes, it will work. Nicely done. So now one last one. Can the sides of the triangle have lengths of 10, 18, and 2? Good, I got Pablo already saying no. Let's see. No, sir. That's right. All right. Let me get at least a couple more responses real quick. 2 more. Okay, got another vote for no. All right, and a no. All right, man, you guys are on the ball. So we've got 10 plus 2 is 12. That's not greater than 18. So again, if you think about your triangle is like 3 different lines, one of those lines won't be able to connect. It'll be too short. So they won't even be able to connect together to make a triangle. All right, so the answer is no. Excellent work, guys. So that's what we covered on Monday, right? And so now we're talking about today is the angles, okay? The angles of a triangle. So we were talking about the side lengths of a triangle, right? And now we're talking about the angles within the triangle. Okay, so, oops, sorry. Do you guys have any questions on other things? Cadence, I'll be able to answer that near the end of class, okay? All right, so does the sum of the angles in a triangle change? Let's see. Like, do some triangles, do you think if it's a bigger triangle, maybe it has a total of 200 degrees in it? Or do you think a triangle that's shaped differently might have a different amount of degrees within it? That's what we're going to be exploring today. So now this is where you guys come in. I'm going to have you guys do a few exploration activities. To start off, you need the following. So I want you guys to open, you should already have opened the 5-6A Google Draw activity. Okay, if you don't have that open, it's right just at the top of the Google stream on the Google Classroom. Okay, it should say something like classwork and for 5-6. And if you click on that, there's some different files there. I want you to go to 5/6A for right now. We'll give you guys a couple seconds to get that open. I'll type that in the chat there as well. All right. So hopefully once you guys are already there and you have that file open, what I want you guys to go ahead and do is click on this link for Geogebra. So this is back to the Google slides. Oops. You'll click on, oh, sorry, reverse that. This is on the Google Draw file. So let me show you that real quick. So it should look like this. Hey, when you click on this little picture of Geogebra, it'll take you to the Geogebra activity that we're going to. So you'll click on that link. And it takes you to a page that looks like this. Okay, and it says create any triangle. What is the sum of the interior angles? Okay, so you can take this, you can stretch your points around. All right, any which way you want, okay? I mean, obviously, if you put a straight line, you could see what happens with that and kind of go with that. But just play around with it and see what you notice, okay? Notice how the angles change and notice what you notice about the sum of the angles, okay? And then next you will go to, sorry, you'll hop back to this page on the Google Draw, right? And you're gonna try 3 different angles, okay? For each, or sorry, you're gonna make 6 different triangles. Obviously, each one has 3 angles. So you'll put the 3 different angles of the triangle in this chart and then put the sum of the angles, okay? So if I made a triangle and I had an angle 1 of 91, angle 2 of 43, and angle 3 of 46, then I would add all those up and put my answer over here. Okay, so go ahead and get started. I want you guys to open that Google Draw, click on here to the activity, and make six triangles. Alrighty. So, all right. So I'm going to go ahead and stop my share for a sec. That way my screen's not in the way. All right, and so, yep. So right now we're taking about 6 minutes or so. Give you guys some time to play around with that and get 6 different triangles and record their angles and to get the sum. Which, one sec, sorry. Candace, which part is not working, if you will? You can unmute if you need to. All right. All right. So you should be able to click on the Google Draw file, Candace. So there is a picture of it in the slideshow, but it won't have the link. But just in case, I'll post it here as well. All right, we'll say about 1 more minute, and then we'll move on. All right, so once you've finished that, Sorry. If you're not finished with that, that is a-okay. You still got just a little bit of time making those triangles and recording the results. But if you are finished, I want you to go ahead and start on the next thing here. So let's see. Okay, yeah. So if you've already filled in this chart here, angles 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, okay, and then the sums where you add them all up. If you've already completed this, or when you complete this, I want you to go ahead and go to Google Draw Activity 5/6B. So we just did A, now we're gonna do B. And this one has like 3 questions reflecting on what you notice, okay? So question 1 says, what do you notice about the sum of the angles, their pattern? 2 asks, do you think that pattern will work for any triangle? So I want you to just type up just a, 1 or 2 sentences on each question, okay? So maybe like, I noticed this, and it seems that there is a pattern, or there's not a pattern. So you put those responses in there, and then we will discuss, and we'll go over what we've noticed. Okay. All right. So we'll say about another 5 minutes to answer those questions / finish up that experiment.
Yo, tell me a riddle.
All right, we'll say about 2 more minutes. When you are finished with both the chart and the reflection questions, you can just say a little done in the chat, like so. Okay. If we're all done, then we'll move on. All right, about one more minute, 30 seconds really. All right. I'm going to share my screen once again. Hopefully we got more than just a couple done there. Again, if you are not quite finished, that's okay. I prefer you to keep working on that as we move forward. Just make sure that you can follow along. All right, so okay. So we were right here on our discussion. So what did you guys notice about the sum of the angles? Okay, I want to hear what you have to say first, obviously, before I just start spouting stuff off. So what did you notice about the sum of the angles? Is there a pattern? Okay, and recognizing that pattern, if you did recognize a pattern, that'll help you learn this so much faster and so much easier. That's the point of kind of exploring by yourself first. So in the chat, if you would just type and say what you noticed about the sum of the angles. Okay, two sides are not even, close to 180. Okay, so again, with our triangles, we're looking at the angles within. And what do you notice about the sum of all those angles? If you add up all those angles on your chart, right? So let me back up real quick. On our chart here, what did you guys get in the blue? Okay, like this triangle, they had 60, 60, 60, and then so the sum would be 180. When you changed these on Geogebra and recorded your results, what did you get for the sums? Was there something the same, different? What do you think? There's no penalty. What did you guys notice? Did you notice anything? Okay. Okay, so I've got a couple people saying Preston said close to 180. Eunice and yeah, Preston again said they're very close to 180. All right, so thank you guys for responding and sharing that, being able to step out. So I'm not saying the correct answer. The pattern that you should notice is exactly that, except for one caveat, one exception, and that means that any triangle that you have should be exactly 180 degrees. Now, I'm not saying maybe GeoGebra, there's a certain way to make it to where it was a little off or something, or maybe if it wasn't quite a triangle. But any triangle, whether it's super skinny or it's exactly equilateral, or you have a triangle that's really big or slanted, any triangle, any three-sided shape, okay, if it's actually a triangle, will always equal 180 degrees. Okay, so keep that in mind as we move forward. Any triangle will have a sum of 180 degrees in the inside. Okay, number two, do you think that pattern will work for any triangle? Okay, and that's kind of what we already said. All we really know so far is that it works for the 6 triangles you made, right? Hopefully, when you added up your angles, you get getting 180. Okay, and what do you think the value of angle T is in the following triangle? Go ahead in the chat. I just want you to type in a number that you think that this angle would be. Hopefully you already have it answered, but I want you guys to See if you figured it out. Good. We got one answer so far. What do you guys think? Let me get two more responses at least. Okay, maybe the same as angle M. Good, Cadence. Yes, you said 71, so we got two responses there. I need at least a third. Again, no penalties, so don't be shy. Okay, got some other 71s. All right, so let's good guys, let's check here. So if angle A is 27 and angle M is 82, okay, then to make 180 total, T would have to be the missing amount, right? So, and I wonder, I think that's just a pointer. But yeah, so we could say 180 minus 27 minus 82 equals the leftover T, okay? So exactly, on this one, T would have to be 71 degrees to make that 180. Very good. All right, so moving on, does this pattern stay true for any kind of triangle? A straight line is 180 degrees. These three angles should combine together to make a straight line. Okay, so like if you took your little dots on Geogebra and made them all in a line, we know that that's still 180 degrees. So let's play around with this a little bit. Okay, so if we take this angle and slit it there, take this purple one, put it there, and take the blue one and rotate it around and slide it up. Those three angles will make 180 degrees. Okay, we know 180 degrees is a straight line. So no matter how your triangle looks, if it's like this or it's like that, okay, any way you have it, it should add up to be 180 degrees, should be that straight line. Okay, so yes, it should work for any type of triangle. All right, so, sorry. You can click on that link there to check for any type of triangle on your slides if you want to play around with that some more, okay, if you need to visualize that a bit. All right, so that brings us to what the actual theorem says, right? What the actual statement says. The sum of the three angles in a triangle will always make 180 degrees, okay? That'll never change. Triangles will always have 180 degrees inside. The sum of the three interior angles in a triangle is always 180. That's what we said. But here's a picture of it. Okay, and they're showing that last thing that we showed. Okay, and we can use that information to help us find the value of missing angles. Okay, so now we use that info, that theorem, to then help us find things that we need. Okay, so if we have some sort of situation where we're missing the third angle, and we can make a triangle out of it, then we can use what we've learned to.
Oh my God! Yo, could you play Uno with me? I need some money. No, Damon.
Sorry. So
No, could you play Uno with
we
me?
can go ahead and use that
After your meeting?
that info to.
No. Can I play Diego?
Right.
Diego. What? Can I play?
All right, so in this case, right, if we have 30 degrees and 70 degrees, that would make 100, right? So then that leftover would have to be 80 degrees in order to make it 180, right? All right. So moving forward, okay, so the last thing, last practice you guys are going to do, now head to, and it should say 5-6 C, right? So we did Google Draw A, we did B, and now I want you guys to do C. It looks like this, okay? And I want you guys to go ahead and see if you can find the missing angle for these triangles. So let's say that you have angle 1 and angle 2, 60 and 80. Can you figure out the third angle? If you know that these all should add up to be 180, then we can find out what those third angles are on each. Okay, so go ahead and open that, and I want you guys to type your answers in there of the missing values. All right, so we're gonna take about, let's see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's say about 4 minutes, 4 to 5 minutes, 4 to 5 minutes to fill in this chart and be ready to check. All right. Excellent, guys. We'll say about 2 more minutes, 2.5 more minutes. Feel free to use a calculator on your computer if that helps, or if you need to use the Geogebra slider, right, to make a triangle and do it that way, you could. Alrighty, so once again, like before, if you're finishing up, that is perfectly fine. But we're going to go ahead and go over it to make sure that we're all on the same page, and you can ask questions if you need to. Okay, so one last time, I'm going to share my screen. And we are right here. Sorry, I keep going forward. All right, so your chart looks something like this, right? And if I were doing this, you can either, some of these you could probably do in your head, and some of these maybe you want to use a calculator for speed. So for right now, sorry, make sure okay. Exactly, so we are, since we know that all three angles are going to be adding up to 180, we're basically working in reverse, or let me draw this real quick. Sorry. All right, so real quick, this first problem here was 60 and 80, right? 60 and 80 degrees, and we're trying to find the third angle, right? We don't know what it is. And again, this, anytime you're dealing with geometry, like triangles like this, super helpful in real life because you can make a triangle almost out of anything. So you can find out missing values, things that you don't know, by using information that you do know. But since we know that all three angles will add up to be 180, you could do this a couple ways. Okay. If it's an easier one, like let's say I know that, okay, 60 plus 80, that's 140. So I know this has to be 40 to make 180, right? I could do that. If that's giving you a little bit of grief, you could solve this like an easy equation. Okay, remember how we did solving equations at the beginning of the year? You could say 60 plus 80 is 140. 140 degrees plus x equals 180. Okay, and then to solve for x, to solve for the missing value that I want, I could say, okay, well, I'm going to do the opposite, right? Inverse operations. So the opposite of adding 140 to x would be subtracting, let me use a different color, subtracting 140 minus 140 from both sides. Okay, and if I do that, this goes away. 140 minus 140 is 0. And now we have x is equal to 40. So what's my missing angle? It's 40 degrees. All right, so let's go back to our page. So hopefully you got 40 for angle 3, okay? And again, for these other ones, what I can do is just say 180, because I know that's the total, minus 25, minus 40 equals 115 is the leftover, so that's going to be what my third angle is to make 180. All right, so that would be 115. 45 plus 100 plus 35 is 180. Here, if I had, again, I could do the same method. 180 minus 58 minus 27 should be 95. Okay, and do it one last time at the bottom. 180 minus 80, minus 86 minus 72 equals 22. So that should be 22. And there it is. All right, so make sure you got these same numbers, 40, 115, 45, 95, and 22. All right, so your assignment for today, okay, is kind of similar setup. If you need some extra practice, like if you're not like, oh, I totally understand this, I've got it down, I would do a few of these, okay? Because this is gonna help you do well on your quizzes. Okay, so we've got the link is not in here, but I posted it to Google Classroom. And I'll make sure I relink it into the lesson post as well. But yeah, so real quick, I'll just show you what this looks like and then we'll be done. Okay, so this Excel practice, it's just like what we've been doing, except for it gives you a little visual too. So you know that this should add to 180. So you can do the same method. You can say, or if you want to go the other way, 75 plus 28 equals 103. So I say, okay, 103, how do I get that to 180? I would need to add 77, right? That would get me to 180. So I know my missing angle has got to be 77. All right, so you can practice those a little bit. And then when you feel confident, then you'll take the quizzes. All right, so that's all we have for today. If you are ready for the quizzes, you can go ahead and take it. My recommendation would be to do at least a few IXL problems, even if you feel confident, just to make sure you feel ready, and then take the quizzes. All right. If you need to stay around and ask any questions, feel free to. I can help tutor you a bit here. If not, then you guys are free to go. Have a great day.